Hi everyone, welcome. Welcome. This is Magda K, and it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to this YouTube live. So, for those of you who are new to my channel, I am an intimacy coach, tantra teacher, and a relationships coach. So, I love bringing the concepts of tantric sexuality, conscious relating, and merge it with the more Western mindset, psychology, and especially social psychology. So this is the channel if you're interested how to experience the most magical intimate life, whether you are currently in a relationship or not. So I speak about different tools, we look at different dynamics. And one thing you need to know about me is that I go deep. I go deep. Like you are not going to get 5 minute videos from me with like step one, step two, step three, because that doesn't actually work. We dive deep enough for you to be able to really change those old patterns. And today we're going to talk about infidelity and how it impacts a woman. And this is so important. And this is for both men and women. So, my loves, this is for any woman who has ever been cheated on. And this is for any woman who wants to make sure that she will not be cheated on again or ever in the future. It's also for any woman who is currently moving through the healing process. Okay, so if you're struggling to forgive, move on, this is for you. And it is also for all the men so that you can understand better what cheating does to a woman, why it can literally destroy us. Like, what is it about? Because women experience infidelity in a different way than men. And I will speak about this today. That's what this life is about. And I have experienced, I've met many men, both personally as friends and even past lovers and clients. I've met so many men telling me how difficult it is for them. We all have our ways of sabotaging ourselves. We all have our addictions. And for a lot of men, like sleeping around, flirting around, sharing sexual energy around is that form. So when something happens, when they get triggered, it's a kind of the automatic way how to deal with all of this. It's not the most conscious way, but it is a popular way because it's available to a lot of men. So if you're the kind of a man who really struggles with being loyal to your partner and not cheat and stay truly committed to your container, then this video will also be very helpful for you, because I find that when you understand on a deeper level what are the consequences of these actions on a woman you love, this can be this extra needed motivation for you to change the ways to work with this pattern. Hi, John. Lovely to see you. So, first, I just want to say that we could spend this whole Instagram live just speaking about what is infidelity. But I'm not someone who loves to argue about definitions. I don't think that's needed. Instead, the way I look at it is it's really up to each person and each relationship, each container. So for some people, when your partner goes out there and he or she flirts with other people, that's perfectly fine. Like, that's not considered cheating. You're fully okay with this. But for another person, that would be already way too much. That would be crossing the line, breaking the container. And also, you may have experienced that some people really struggle to move through it. If they're ever been cheated on, it's like it just hits their wound so deeply. And for other people, moving through that seems to be sort of easy or easier. And it's because we are all different. We're all individuals, and we have our unique individual conditioning, history, values, wounds, hopes, and dreams. So I do want to make space for the simple fact that we are all different. And I'll be speaking like in general about this phenomena, but I really want you to understand that we are different. All of us are different. And so these things will be true for everyone, but to a different extent. And I do want to say that absolutely men are also impacted by infidelity. Some men can be really devastated. So, this is not to say that this is something that is difficult to process for women only. Um, But this video is specifically about women, what happens in a woman's body, in our psyche, in our heart. And it's inspired by one of my friends who not so long ago went through a breakup because she found out that her partner was cheating on her. And I saw this whole process from both of their sides, actually. And unfortunately, she was not able to move through it. So she was really going in loops and struggling. And it was really sad to see because, like, a year has passed, or even a year and a half, and she was still stuck in the same pain. And so I realized, looking also at myself, because I've experienced some forms of infidelity as well. And so looking at women going through this, I realized that, well, first of all, we need to understand something to be able to move through that. And secondly, I don't think men truly understand what kind of damage they can do to a woman. And oftentimes, when I talk about men who have cheated in some form, these are not men who didn't love their woman. They loved her deeply. They did not want to hurt her. But this was just something stronger for them. And I feel that in those cases, if men truly understood what happens for a woman, what is her reality, why it's something that impacts her so deeply, I think they may have access to more motivation, more willpower to direct these energies in a different form. So that's why I want to speak about this. Because again, I don't think men can fully grasp how infidelity can break a woman, but also I don't think women fully understand what this experience is for us, what it means for a woman. So the reason why women and men react to this so differently, and why it can totally damage and break a woman into pieces, is because of the social and historical conditioning. So for generations, like generations, for hundreds and hundreds of years, a man was allowed to cheat, but not a woman. We can go back to stories of, different kings and emperors who had harems. They had a wife, right? They had their wife. There was a queen, but he had multiple women in court, right? And in some cultures, we have proper harems, which is literally women who were there in case the king or the emperor wanted to go with another woman, right? Now, that did not happen the other way around. In fact, if a queen was ever caught cheating or even flirting, if there was even ever a doubt, that meant the end of her. Now, we're not just talking about royalty. That's something that's been absolutely okay for generations. It was okay for a man to sleep around if he wanted to, but it wasn't okay for a woman, right? In fact, for so many generations, and still until today in many cultures, a woman needs to be a virgin. That was never, ever, 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 ever required of a man. Okay, so when it comes to sexuality, it's almost never been fair for men and women. There are things that a man could always do and a woman could never do, and it's something until today. Like, if a man cheats, we have kind of like, we feel like, well, yeah, he's a man. If a woman cheats, it's like, oh my God, she's such a cold bitch. She must have no heart. How could she do it? There's a whole different story there. Okay. And notice, again, it happens still today around the world. If a man goes with another woman, if he is cheating on his partner, in a way that's okay. But if a woman does it, it means a divorce. It means she is going to be shamed, in some cultures even killed, because she dishonors her family. So, this is something that, because I know, of course, like most of you, my loves, you're from the US or Europe. So you may be thinking like, well, that's not our reality. That's not my culture. That's changed already. Well, what you have to understand that these things are passed on genetically. Okay. So I want to talk about this a little bit. Like I said, I love psychology. So let me be a bit of a geek and nerd for a moment here to kind of explain this to you, because this is something really important to understand. Okay. That these things are passed on genetically. It doesn't have to be reality for you or for your generation, or not even the generation of your parents. And yet it will still be physically in your body, in your genes. So there is a study, and it was done on rats. Again, we always have ethical reasons why we cannot really do these things on humans. But in that study, one generation of rats was exposed to something. There was a certain stimulus, and after it, the rats were being shocked, like they experienced electrical shock. So there was pain, right? A certain stimulus followed by pain. And if I'm not mistaken, it was about smell. It was a certain scent. So of course, what they observed is that after a while, the rats learned that that scent signified pain, and so anytime they would feel the smell, they would get nervous. Like they would react. Their body would react in fear, contract, tense, nervous system agitated, because they have learned that what follows next is this pain. Now, that's not surprising, probably to anyone, but what may be surprising is that the kids of those rats, so the next generation, still reacted to the smell even though they were never exposed to pain. They never went through the process of this specific smell equals pain. And yet the rats were reacting to the smell with the same physiological reactions. Okay, so contracting, stressing. And it is believed, both in science and in all the spiritual yogic circles, that we pass these things seven generations down and up. So if you think of this, your grandparents, oh, that was full on their reality of a man being able to do things that a woman couldn't. So you're getting these things from your grandparents, no matter what. And to give you another example of this, think of arachnophobia. This is probably one of the most common fears on the planet. And it's a fear that makes absolutely no sense in our society. If you think of it, there are multiple other ways for humans to die. There's multiple other animals that are way more dangerous. There's cars, accidents, tons of other things. Why is it that we are terrified of spiders? It's exactly like the experiment with the rats, because many, many, many generations ago, right? Probably someone died. There were probably way bigger spiders. And so humans were afraid of them. And that fear was passed on generation to generation. And it was passed on until us. Even though, I mean, how many of you, and have you ever actually experienced a situation where your life was threatened by a spider? It's not our reality, and yet we still carry the fear. Okay. So this is why we have to understand that what was happening for generations before us has a huge impact on all of us today. Right? So basically, today, when a man cheats on a woman, in a way, what it says is, I can do what I want. You cannot. So it's hugely disempowering, right? It's like you're literally taking power away from her. And there, another thing, if you guys are curious about these things, you can read more. But we have tons of experiments where we show that if a person feels disempowered in life, that they don't get to do things that other people do, and there's no actual logical reason for that, that person actually loses will to live. We start feeling that our life does not depend on us, so we become very passive, and life starts happening to us. We stop taking decisions. So again, when a man cheats on a woman in our times, it perpetuates the story. He can do whatever he can, but you cannot, because you're a woman. And so from there, it activates all of the story in a woman's mind, that I don't get to earn as much money. I don't get to do what I want. All I am good for is staying home, cooking, cleaning, and having kids. So it's way bigger. Like I said, this conditioning is very different for men and women. Now, there is another aspect we need to remember about, is that a woman has always relied on a man for safety and survival. Okay, and again, this may not necessarily be true today, but it's been true for so many generations. Like that was literally the case. It's like when a woman came of age, the most important thing for the whole family was to marry her. There's a great show on Netflix called Bridgerton, which talks about this. Like it shows all of this world of like it's like the biggest project of a year is to prepare young daughters so they get married as soon as possible. Because if you were not married, it means that your family had to keep paying for you. Like, spinsters were just like not a part of a society. So you actually needed a man, you needed a husband to survive, to live, to have a home. Remember, women didn't work at those times, right? So if she wanted any money, she needed him. So that was true for a really long time. And again, if today a man cheats on a woman, it brings back that fear that, oh my God, I will not be taken care of. I will not be taken care of. He may leave me. I will be alone. I will not be able to survive. Even if she currently has a great job and makes money, that fear is still present because, again, it's been passed on genetically. Right? Now, we also need to understand another like quite practical aspect here. If kids are involved or wanting to have a kid, I know we live in times where we think that just having a baby, it's like a side hobby. And why wouldn't a woman work full time and have a baby? But that's not exactly how biology works. Literally, a female brain changes. So she's unable to like logically think the way she did before pregnancy. Okay, so it all changes. So all of her focus is on a baby. And of course, still, there are some months where the baby fully needs a mother. So it's really hard, like we know this, to be a single mom because you have to take care of everything. So if there's ever a topic of kids, like having kids or wanting to have kids, you have to understand that if a man cheats, it means that he could potentially leave her alone with a child. And if every woman who loves her kid, doesn't matter how much, it's not an easy position. Okay, a woman doesn't choose just to be a single mom and take care of everything unless she has no other choice. And if she doesn't, she's going to find her strength, but it really takes a lot of strength. Okay. um okay, so you also have to understand that so because of all this historical, societal, cultural conditioning, we currently live in times where things are really upside down. So we live in times where a man means more to a woman than anything else. And I know for many women, this is not necessarily true, but for so many of us, this is true. And so you will find women stabbing each other for a man. And I have a great video on this topic, which is called Why Women Choose Men Over Sisterhood. Why women choose men over sisterhood. So make sure to later check my YouTube channel. This video was not so long ago. It's powerful. It's really powerful. So also watch that. It will give you more understanding here. But you have to understand that us women, we don't really trust each other because women, so many women are really fast at just stabbing even their best friend if it's about a guy. Like they would rather pick a man than stay loyal to the friend. So that is something super, again, important for us to remember. Okay. So this is the understanding of why or how cheating can fully destroy a woman, because it's not just about feeling betrayed and having your heart broken. There's all of this conditioning that is not present for a man. But here's another layer to the conversation. Like I said, just like men are not fully aware of the damage that infidelity can cause a woman, women are not fully aware of what this whole process is for us, what it means, and how it changes us. Because experiencing infidelity for a woman is an initiation. And it's fucking painful, right? But it changes everything. If you choose to receive that initiation, you step up, you grow up, and you become mature in a way that you were not before. And this is kind of similar to when someone gets a disease like cancer. You would never wish that, anyone, yourself, to go through this. And yet we hear people who have battled cancer or other like near death experiences, we hear them say that, that was the biggest gift. It was a wake up call. Now, again, this is not to say, by the way, that we only learn and we only get wake up calls through, life threatening diseases or infidelity. Like, these are painful experiences, okay, that offer those lessons, but we can totally learn the lessons in a more subtle and softer way. Okay. And it also in no way to say that, that it's a woman who was cheated on, that this is her fault, right? That, oh, it's just initiation. No, no, no. Like, I'm not like, saying this. I'm not saying that, oh, he could do whatever he wanted or she could do whatever she wanted. It's not about that. But it is about understanding that in our life, there's certain events that happen that change us. And they're, like I said, they're fucking painful. Okay. We don't want to go through them. And yet some of us do. And they offer an incredible opportunity to transform. Like I said, it is a wake up call. What it means is, darling, pay attention to red flags. To choose yourself, even if it means losing a relationship. To walk away when you feel that something is not right. To trust your intuition and value yourself. The truth is that people don't just cheat out of nowhere. Like, if you're perfectly happy, everything is fine, people don't have the need to cheat. So there are some signals present telling you, I don't feel I should trust him. You know what? Like, I have this gut feeling something is off. Notice that most of the time women know when their partner is cheating on them. There's just something we just know. It's our sixth sense, our intuition, right? So again, it's a reminder that, hey, listen, if you don't feel safe with him, don't stay in a relationship with him. Don't be afraid to lose him and lose that relationship, because that means choosing yourself. When you see those red flags, do not ignore them. They're not going to magically disappear. Take him or your partner for who they are in front of you. Choose yourself, radically choose yourself. Okay? So this is about really paying attention, really trusting your intuition and your gut. Pay attention, because if you were totally shocked by cheating, it means you were not paying attention to the relationship or your partner. Whether consciously or not, you may have like consciously like see something and decide, nope, it's just not there. Or you may have blocked this on the unconscious level, as in like, I'm totally like new to this, I had no idea. It means that you are blocking this already on the unconscious level. And the initiation, the gift that comes with it, is the end of childlike innocence and the beginning of true trust. This is the end of being daddy's little girl and leaning on a man to do everything for you, or wanting to be saved, like this princess like phenomena. I have another video actually where I speak about the difference between a princess and a queen. A queen would not allow her partner to cheat on her. As in, she would not allow that situation. She would bring it up. She would see it. She would have the courage to face this and have these conversations, knowing that they may end the relationship. But a princess pretends it's not there until it blows up in her face. So this is the difference between being innocent and naive and trusting. And it's actually a metaphor that my dear friend shared with me. He says that every human has a monster. And with experience, with age, comes this understanding that even if I connect to someone, I know there is a monster inside of them, and this monster can show up. So when I am getting to know someone, I'm trying to understand what this person is about, and I'm trying to understand what their monster is about and how can they manage their monster. That's trust, that I know you have the capacity to hurt me. I know you have the capacity to destroy me. So I'm being careful. I take it step by step because I know. Naivety is thinking this person will never hurt me. He loves me so much. He'll be there for me all the time. He would never do this to me. That's being naive. And so now you're smarter. If you're going through this, if you've ever experienced this, you're smarter. You know what to look for, right? You know what are the red flags. You know how to trust your intuition because you felt this. And it's so important, my love, to really own this. Now, an important thing is that, you've probably heard it from other people that if someone cheats on you, it's not about you, it's about them. And this is true. And it is about you because he cheated on you. That doesn't have to mean that you did something wrong. In some cases, a woman can really push a man to cheating. In other cases, she may literally be fully innocent. It's literally his shadow that he's working through. Yet it happened to you. So sit with this. Sit with that pain of being betrayed, of being cheated on, of being hurt. Feel this. Allow yourself to feel it, because when you're not afraid of this pain, it will not control you anymore. And then look at it. Okay, what are my lessons? What can I learn from here? How can I keep myself safe? There's always a lesson. Getting a lesson from every experience doesn't mean that you are at fault. It doesn't mean that you caused it. But like I said, it did happen to you. It happened to you for a reason. So listen to those reasons. Like I said, ultimately, what it really is about trusting your intuition. You know when things are off. Do not ignore this. Do not pretend it's not there. Again, that's being naive. Secondly is, really growing, becoming so courageous and so brave to choose ourselves over a man, over a relationship, right? It's like relationship should never come, like you should never be the price for the relationship. That's another lesson. Another one is to really hold yourself. Care for your body, for your inner child, for your heart. Give yourself, your heart, what it truly desires. Don't just lean on your partner. Learn to be more independent in taking care of your own needs. Acknowledge what you really need, and then just give it to yourself. There's all of this work with the inner child of self-love, radical self-love, which, my love, it's not all that easy. It's absolutely not. But we can make progress there. And then, of course, forgive yourself and promise that you'll do better next time. So, my loves, I really hope it's been helpful. Again, to all the men, understand it's not just a broken heart and a betrayal for a woman. There's so much more weight that comes from, the history of what was allowed sexually and not sexually for men and women. And for the women who have experienced infidelity, I want you to look at it as the initiation, as a ritual that invites you to step up, to step from being a princess to being a queen. So, my loves, thank you so much. It's been lovely seeing you and sending you all the love from Bali. Bye.